Let's start with the thing that 90% of people get wrong the second they lay down on that bench. Here's what nobody tells you about the bench press. The exercise starts before you even touch the bar. And most people skip this completely. They just lie down, grab the bar, and start pressing. Then they wonder why their shoulders hurt, and their chest looks the same 6 months later. Your shoulder blades need to be retracted and depressed, which is just fancy gym talk for back and down. You want to pull your shoulder blades together, like you're squeezing a pencil between them, then pull them down towards your back pockets. Think about it like building a shelf. If the shelf isn't stable, everything you put on it is going to wobble and fall off. Your shoulder blades are the shelf. Your chest press is what goes on top. Here's how you do it. Before you even grab the bar, arch your upper back slightly. Pull those shoulder blades back and down. Create that stable platform. Now here's the part everyone forgets. You have to keep them there the entire set. The second they come forward, you just turn this into a shoulder and triceps exercise. Your chest checked out of the conversation. And I already know what you're thinking. But isn't arching your back cheating? No. Shut up. Unless you're competing in powerlifting and trying to shorten your range of motion to lift maximum weight, a slight arch is just proper form. We're not talking about turning yourself into a bridge here, just enough to lock those shoulder blades in place and create a stable pressing platform. Now when you grab the bar, imagine you're trying to bend it or break it in half. Not actually break it because the gym owner won't be happy with you, but that internal tension creates external rotation in your shoulders. This keeps your shoulders in a safe position and makes sure your chest is doing the work instead of your front delts taking over the whole show. The biggest mistake? People set up perfect, do 1 rep, and then their shoulder blades come forward and stay forward for the other 9 reps. I filmed myself benching once and realized I was only using proper form for literally the first rep. The rest of the set looked like my shoulders were rolling forward to give the bar a hug. No wonder my chest wasn't growing. It wasn't even participating in the conversation. So each rep, you need to reset that tension, back and down, every single time. Before you press, check in with your body. Are my shoulder blades still squeezed together? Are they still pulled down? If the answer is no, reset before you do another rep. This might feel weird at first. You might even lift less weight when you do it right. That's fine. That's your ego talking. Let it cry in the corner while your chest actually starts growing. Because here's the truth. If your shoulder blades aren't creating a stable platform, all that weight you're pressing is getting distributed to every muscle except the one you're trying to build. So now you've got the setup. Your shoulder blades are locked in. You're squeezing that imaginary pencil between them, but there's still a good chance you're pressing the bar to the wrong spot on your chest, which brings us to problem number 2. All right, here's the plot twist. The bench press isn't actually a straight up and down movement. If you're pressing straight up from your chest, you're doing it wrong. And this is exactly why your shoulders hurt, even when you think you've got those shoulder blades locked in place. The bar should touch somewhere between your nipple line and lower chest, not up by your neck, not on your sternum. Lower chest. And when I say touch, I mean actually touch. Don't bounce it off your chest like you're trying to perform CPR on yourself. Control it down, light touch, press back up. Now here's what actually happens when you press correctly. The bar path looks like a J, or maybe a backwards J depending on how you're looking at it. Touch point on lower chest, press up and slightly back toward your face. Finish over your shoulders. It's not straight up, it's a slight arc. This keeps constant tension on your chest throughout the entire movement instead of transferring the load to your shoulders at the top. You know those people who tell you to flare your elbows out at 90 degrees from your body? Yeah, they're setting you up for shoulder surgery. Your elbows should be at about 45 degrees from your torso, not tucked completely against your sides, not sticking straight out like airplane wings, right in the middle. This keeps your shoulders safe and actually puts more tension on your chest where you want it. Here's an easy way to check if you're in the right position. At the bottom of the movement, your forearms should be vertical, not angled in toward your face, not angled out toward the wall, straight up and down. If they're not, either your grip is too wide, too narrow, or you're touching the bar to the wrong spot. Film yourself from the side and check this. Most people's forearms are angled because their grip is way too wide. If your shoulders hurt, you're either touching too high or your elbows are flared too much. If you feel nothing in your chest, you're probably pressing straight up instead of that J curve, or your shoulder blades came unstuck like I talked about earlier. If your wrists hurt, you're probably gripping too wide, or letting your wrists bend back instead of keeping them straight and stacked over your forearms. And before you comment, but I saw this powerlifter touch the bar really high on his chest. Yeah, he's trying to reduce range of motion to lift maximum weight in competition. You're trying to build a chest. Different goals, different techniques. Stop comparing yourself to people playing a different sport. I used to touch the bar basically on my collarbone because that's where it felt natural. Guess what muscles got huge? My front delts and triceps. My chest, still auditioning for a role as a washboard. Took me about 6 months to unlearn that pattern and actually start touching lower on my chest where the movement is supposed to happen. When you get the bar path right, you should feel this stretch in your chest at the bottom position, not in your shoulders, in your chest. That stretch is what you're looking for. That's the tension that makes the muscle grow. If you finish a rep and you felt it everywhere except your chest, something in the chain is broken. For most people, this means your grip should be somewhere around 1.5 times your shoulder width. Not exactly 1.5, because this isn't calculus, but somewhere in that range. Adjust based on what gives you that chest stretch without shoulder pain. Wider isn't always better. Narrower isn't automatically worse. Find what works for your body structure. Okay, so you've got the setup locked in. You're touching the right spot with the right bar path. But none of this matters if you're making the third mistake, which is actually about how you're pressing the bar back up. Here's what most people don't understand. The bench press isn't about pushing the bar away from you. It's about bringing your elbows together across your body. Your chest's job is to bring your arms toward the midline. That's the function. That's what we're training. The bar is just the tool we're using to create resistance against that movement. So instead of thinking, push the bar up, think bring your elbows together. The bar is just along for the ride. This tiny mental shift makes a massive difference in what muscles you feel working. Suddenly your chest lights up instead of your triceps doing all the talking. Now let's talk about speed. If you're bouncing the bar off your chest and racing through reps like you're trying to catch a flight, you're training your stretch reflex, not your chest. Lower the bar with control, about 2 to 3 seconds down. Pause for half a second at the bottom. Then press up with intent. The pressing phase can be faster, but it should still be controlled. You should be able to stop the bar at any point in the movement if someone yelled freeze. And no, slow reps don't automatically mean better growth. But if you can't control the weight, you're using too much weight. That's not a debate. That's physics. Your muscles respond to tension, not momentum. If you're using momentum to move the weight, your muscles aren't under tension long enough to actually grow. If you really can't feel your chest working, even after fixing the setup and bar path, here's what you do. Add a 2-second pause at the bottom of each rep. Keep everything tight. Shoulder blades still back and down. Tension still in your chest. That pause forces your chest to do the work instead of bouncing the bar or using momentum to get through the sticking point. Breathe in on the way down. Hold your breath at the bottom through the first half of the press. Then breathe out as you finish. This keeps your core tight and gives you a stable platform to press from. Don't breathe like you're hyperventilating through a panic attack. Controlled breathing. It matters more than you think. Here's the reality check nobody wants to hear. If your chest isn't growing, you're probably using too much weight. I know. That sounds backwards. More weight equals more gains, right? Wrong. More weight equals more triceps and shoulders if you can't control it with proper form. You should be able to do 8 to 12 reps with complete control before adding weight. Not 8 reps where the last 3 look like you're having a seizure. 8 clean reps where every single one looks identical. If you can't, lower the weight. And before you say, but I need to go heavy for strength, cool, have one heavy day. But if muscle growth is the goal, you need volume with tension. That means more reps with weight you can actually control. Not one rep maxes every session like you're preparing for the Olympics. This is going to sound weird, but close your eyes during your warm-up sets. Really focus on feeling your chest stretch and contract. Squeeze your chest at the top like you're trying to bring your nipples together. Yes, I just said that. No, it's not weird. It works. This mind-muscle connection thing isn't bro science. It's about creating intentional tension in the muscle you're trying to grow. Look, the bench press is a compound movement. Your triceps and shoulders will contribute. That's fine. That's normal. But your chest should be the primary mover. If you finish a set and your triceps are blown up but your chest feels nothing, something's wrong. Go back through the checklist. Setup, bar path, press pattern. One of those 3 is broken. All right, so now you know the 3 fixes. But there's one more thing that might be sabotaging your chest growth that has nothing to do with technique. Even with perfect form, if you're only benching once a week, progress is going to be slow. Your chest needs to be trained 2 to 3 times per week for optimal growth. That doesn't mean benching 3 times. You can do bench press one day, incline dumbbell press another day, and maybe dips or push-ups on the third. Just hit your chest multiple times per week with enough volume. For total chest volume, aim for somewhere between 10 to 20 hard sets per week, spread across those 2 to 3 sessions. Hard sets meaning you're getting close to failure, not leaving 5 reps in the tank and calling it a day. Your chest needs enough stimulus to grow, but not so much that you can't recover. And that's the thing about recovery. Your chest needs 48 to 72 hours between sessions to actually grow. Training it every single day doesn't make you tough. It makes you stupid. The muscle grows during recovery, not during the workout. If you're constantly sore and your bench press numbers haven't moved in 3 months, you're probably not recovering enough. Sleep matters more than most people want to admit. 7 to 9 hours per night isn't a suggestion. It's a requirement if you actually want to build muscle. You can have the best technique in the world, but if you're sleeping 4 hours a night, your chest isn't going to grow. Your body builds muscle while you sleep. Give it the time it needs to do the job. And obviously, none of this matters if you're not eating enough protein. We're back to the same number. 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Your chest is a muscle. Muscles are made of protein. Eat your food. Not complicated. Spread that protein across 3 to 5 meals throughout the day. You don't need to eat 8 times per day, like some bodybuilder from the 90s. Just get your protein in consistently. Do you need a barbell bench press specifically? No. Dumbbells work great and might actually be better for some people because they allow more natural movement and require more stabilization. Machines? Also fine, especially if shoulder issues make free weights problematic. The principles stay the same. Shoulder blade position, touch point, controlled movement. Those don't change whether you're using a barbell, dumbbells, or a machine. Here's the truth about chest growth. If you fix these 3 things today, you're not going to wake up tomorrow looking like you robbed a chicken breast factory. You'll start noticing a difference in about 8 to 12 weeks. That's 2 to 3 months of consistent training with proper form. Not exciting, but it's realistic. And here's why that time frame matters. Quick fixes don't exist. Those 30-day chest transformation videos, either they're on drugs, they already had muscle and just cut fat, or they're lying to you. Probably all three. Real chest growth takes months of doing the boring basics correctly. So let's bring this all together and make sure you actually start using this information instead of just nodding and forgetting it tomorrow. So here's what you're fixing starting right now. 1. Shoulder blades back and down before you even touch the bar, and keep them there for every single rep. 2. Touch the bar to your lower chest with a J-curve bar path, not straight up to the ceiling. 3. Think about bringing your elbows together, not pushing weight, and control the tempo on every rep. That's it. Those are the 3 things, not 10 things, not some secret Bulgarian chest protocol. 3 fixes that probably take you 1 workout to implement. Next time you bench, and I mean your very next session, film yourself from the side. You're going to see at least one of these problems, probably all 3. Fix them. Lower the weight if you need to. Your ego will survive. Your chest isn't going to explode overnight. But in 3 months, if you actually apply this consistently, you're going to see a difference. The kind of difference where shirts fit better and you don't avoid certain angles in photos anymore. The kind of difference where you actually look like you lift. Most people will watch this, think, yeah, that makes sense, then go bench exactly the same way they always have. Their shoulder blades will still roll forward. They'll still touch the bar too high. They'll still use too much weight and wonder why nothing changes. Don't be most people. Actually change something. Here's what it comes down to. Your chest doesn't care how much weight is on the bar. It only responds to tension. The right kind of tension. In the right place. With the right setup. Give it what it needs, and it has no choice but to grow. You've been doing the work. You've been showing up. Now, you're finally going to get the results that work deserves. Because you're not just benching anymore. You're benching correctly. And that makes all the difference.